guys, it's going to be a pretty quick and short little video. Headed out to the river house today. I got full tote of coyote gear and a little bit of wolf stuff that I need to boil and get waxed up. I always have a lot of people, in part of our Trappers Education class here. For those of you that don't know, I'm an instructor for the state of Montana. But I always get a lot of questions on how to do it, what's the safest way, and this, that, and the other. And to be honest, it's different for everybody. But I've always tried to explain how I do it, but I have a hard time explaining it, and they have a hard time visualizing it just because it's not really normal. The process is the same, but it's just the equipment that I use and how I do it. And a good buddy of mine, Paul Anzac, Montana Wolf Trapper, the Mountain Man, you guys all know him as something different. He's the one that actually showed me how to build this boiler and stuff like that. Anyway, so I'm going to do just quick little tidbits of it. When we get out to the house, I'll show you guys how I built this thing and what my setup looks like just for boiling and waxing. I do all mine at the same time. My wax is not in my dyeing water. I have it next to the side there. It just works better. It's a quick in and out. Wax adheres really nice. So anyways, guys, this is what I use here to boil all my traps in. All it is a 55-gallon drum that I cut in half, and this is the bottom piece here. I just put it on the top, weld it together, and then I leave the bottom of the barrel on there. That way I don't have to worry about ash being all over the ground and stuff. Anyway, that's like an 8x10 hole or something like that. You don't have to weld it solid. I just tack weld it in places. I got this piece here, and then what I did is I just self-tapped a 90-degree elbow there, and it comes up, and what it does is it gets all the smoke, up here above it's not in my face and stuff. Just when you do that, you want to make sure you put the smokestack on the opposite side of the opening, obviously. And then what I do is I either put a rock or a cinder block right here, and I always melt my wax. I got it here. That wax there, I'm going to have to add some to it. But I get that started in the house and pour a little water in there. That way I don't burn the wax. Once it gets melted, then I bring it out, set it along the side of the boiler here, and it keeps it nice and liquidy. So it works out good. Anyway, that's a quick look at it before. You can see all the stuff in there from last year's all dried up. It's got leaves in there and all sorts of good garbage, and it doesn't hurt anything. And when you use all that, and I'll add some to it, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So guys, we got her all filled up with water and got a good fire going on her, but I haven't put nothing in this thing yet. See all the dye just comes back to life. It's got leaves and everything in there. None of that'll hurt anything. So I just leave it all in there. But anyway, yep, that's where we're going. I got the wax in the house. It's doing its thing, and hopefully this one gets to boiling and that one gets to liquid about the same point in time. So what I'll typically do is I'll put these traps. This is all coyote gear here, and then I got some sabers, a couple of Bridger Bronze, a couple of Duke 850s, but I'll put those in there, and I let them, when you put the cold steel in there, the water is going to stop boiling, and then I just let them sit there and wait for it to start boiling again. Once it starts boiling, I'll give it 5-10 minutes, and I'll pull the stuff out. So you'll get to see that part. Stay tuned. Alright guys, well, I got as I normally do. I get so busy I forget to pull out the camera and record. But anyway, we got the water all up and going, boiling real hard. There you go, you can see it a little bit there. But I've already I just put the 4 wolf traps in real quick. And so before those traps went in, they look like that. So that's what the dye does. Just gives them that nice dark color. They're waxed, ready to go. And then I probably got 25, 30 traps in there already of my coyote gear. So got those in there. The water just started boiling again. I'll probably give them, 10-15 minutes or something like that. And we'll yank them out. And I'll try to set the camera up, maybe back a little way so you can actually see it. I'll pull them out one by one. The traps are so hot that they're going to dry almost instantly. So that's why I dye and I wax at the same time. So the trap comes out, it dries. The trap is still super dry or super hot. So it goes into the wax and so it's already hot. So the wax immediately adheres to it. If you are dipping or if you're waxing cold traps, you got your wax, at temperature, it's liquid. You put that cold trap in there and you got to leave it in there until the trap reaches the same temperature as the wax. So it slows it way, way down. I mean, you could literally put a trap in there and leave it in there for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your temperatures. Doing it this way, the trap's so hot that it comes out hot, goes into the hot wax. It adheres immediately. You pull it out, drip it off, and set it down or hang it up, whatever you're going to do. With these traps here, I'm not worried about hanging them up and making them all pretty. A good majority, or at least half of these, are going to go in the ground in 2 weeks anyway. So I'll pull them out of the wax, drip them dry, and I'm just going to stack them in a big old pile here on the board, and I'll come back out and pick them up in a couple of days. So anyway, I'll set this up so when I pull these out, you can actually see the process. Alright guys, those things have been in there about 15-20 minutes or so, and I'm going to try to do this one-handed without dropping a trap and dropping my phone and everything else all at once. And hopefully the camera will pick up how fast these dry. You see how, it's just not really picking it up, but that trap is pretty much dry right there. And it doesn't take long. Then I'll grab the phone here so I don't. Then what I do, so that trap's dry, goes into the wax. And I'll hold it there for just a couple of seconds. And then as you pull it out, see there's no white film on it. See how it's nice and clear and shiny? That's what you want. Okay, and then what I do is I just set it on the edge and kind of tip it a little bit, drains it a little bit faster there. And that's it. And most years I hang them up and they're all nice and pretty and all that, but I don't have time for that this year. But since I got you guys going, here let's grab this trap here. So this is a cold trap, and if I wanted to just wax this trap, I put it in the wax. So I'll hold it there about the same amount of time I held the other one. When I pull this out, see how it's all gray and white? That wax will chip off the first time it rattles. I mean 100%. None of it will stay there. So you can't wax cold traps in a timely fashion, is what I'm getting at. So anyway, and that's kind of a hodgepodge way of doing it, but trying to do it with one hand is pretty tough. because it is. It takes two hands. Anyway, I'm gonna pull the rest of these out, get them waxed, get them on the board, and then we'll get these last dozen or so, whatever it is in there. We'll boil them, pull them out, wax them, and then I'll throw the sabers and the chains in there, and then I'm going home. I'll leave them in there. And that's another thing too that a lot of people don't know is when you're dyeing like this, you can cold dye your stuff too. The difference is instead of only being in there for 15-20 minutes, you're probably gonna have to leave it in there for 4 or 5 days and come out and stir it up occasionally and business like that to get any really good color to them. You still don't get the treatment aspect of the dye, because that's what it's for. It treats the steel. Okay, when the steel is hot, the metal pores open up. It's just like your skin. Your pores open up and it accepts that dye better. So it's always better to do them hot, but if you can't, you can cold dye traps, and then you got to go through the cold waxing process, and it just takes a long time. If you're running any sort of number of gear like I am, you can't do it that way. If you're a guy that's got a half dozen or a dozen traps, you could probably pull it off and it'd be okay. But when you're running 400 or 500 pieces, it just doesn't work. Obviously today we're not doing that. All my stuff that I did last year is pretty much still good to go. Being that I got sick, had the cancer crap and all that shit, and so I only had like 10-15 sets in the ground last year. And